Isara. Okay. Isara, can you start tell me about yourself first, and then I will go ahead.
Okay, currently, I'm from Kazakhstan, but currently I'm studying PhD in France. So I did my master's here in chemistry and in material science and engineering, and after I stayed for PhD. So now I'm at the first year of my PhD.
Okay.
I'm working on printed electronics, like application of metal nanoparticles for printed electronics.
Okay. Are you on are you are on processing, or you are on manufacturing, or you make material?
No, I just synthesize. I make materials.
Okay, materials. Okay. And other thing is what how you said how how long you have been, how long you will be there for before you graduate?
Yes, it's like 3 years PhD. In Europe, it's mostly 3 years.
3 years. Okay, Europe is.
Yeah, it's my first year now.
Okay. And just I want to ask you, you are looking to pursue after postdoc or industry job in US or within the Europe?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Exactly. Okay. It doesn't matter, no.
Okay. Okay. So, Sarah, what I will do, I will go through your CV, and then I will also go through your questions one by one, and I will ask you. And I have some more time for you, so if you have more questions, you can ask me, okay?
Okay, I got it.
So I think one of the question that is very prominent in your email is you have low grades, and will that affect your career later on? I think, right?
Yes.
And is it's only related to masters, right?
Yes, it's only related to my master's.
So I can tell you for sure that um, your grades has will have no impact on your position to get a postdoc or a job in a company.
Really?
Yeah.
Like my master's?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And the reason I say, because you are doing your PhD, so if let's say if you do your PhD well, and if you don't have very bad grades in your PhD, your master doesn't matter.
Okay. I got it.
Yeah, that's one thing. So let's say if you are applying for a postdoc in US or in Europe, I think I can mostly talk about US.
Okay.
The only thing that will matter is what is your research area, your recommendation from your advisor,
Okay.
and the second thing will be your interest in the field what you are looking for. So only these three things matter. Let's say if you get bad grades even in your PhD, it really, most of the postdoc jobs is based on reference. So it's based on your advisor. So let's say if your advisor has good contacts, he can get you a postdoc. So postdoc doesn't have a eligibility criteria.
Okay.
It does not.
I got it.
So that's number one. So number two, you mentioned about that you have a confusion between industry and doing research after. And
Yes.
So it really depends on the opportunity you have and what you want to do. So so if you are doing your PhD, uh, it actually really depends on you whether you want to go to industry or you want to go to a postdoc. I can tell you the difference. The difference I can tell you.
Okay.
So if you are doing a postdoc, let's say, then the chances for you to go and become a professor at some university after that will be much higher.
Okay.
Because you will be more trained as a researcher in an industry. Let's say if you start working in an industry, then you most so my advice to you would be to find a job with a core R&D, so that you can have both, you can have some good amount of research as well as some other practical experience.
Okay, so job in R&D.
Yeah.
After PhD.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So let's say if you are looking for a job in Intel, for example. So Intel has his own R&D facility, and that R&D would be able to hire you right away. Okay.
But I'm confused about Intel. For instance, I'm working on printed electronics, but in Intel, they use mostly like photolithography and all this, and I'm confused whether I can go to Intel or Micron.
It doesn't matter. I
Okay.
have friends who work in Intel and who are working in Micron, and their PhD was only different topic. It doesn't matter. All they are looking for, if you know the basics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by basics, you mean what exactly? What I have to
So,
focus?
for
Like by
example,
basics.
do you have a background on photolithology?
Okay.
Do you know about the basics of semiconductor industries and things like that? You know
Okay.
what I mean? And if you're working on printed electronics or something, and I'm pretty sure that Intel may have a R&D group which is working in printed electronics right now, so they can
Okay.
hire you there also.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
actually, let me tell you, many people say, "What I'm doing my PhD, can I find a job?" I don't think there is a match there. So my
Okay.
PhD was in a totally different area, and what I do now is completely different. It has no
Okay.
relation. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
All they want you to do is they want to make sure that you have done a good job in your PhD, you have done good research, and you know the basics. So so
Okay.
so they can train you later on whatever they want. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay, other thing you said mentioned about again, you another question you have, that what parts should I choose based on my marks and experience? It does not matter.
Okay.
So let me tell you, many people who call me from Asian countries or from Europe, they talk about lot about marks, but I can tell you for sure, especially in US, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Marks doesn't
Influence.
contribute too much. It's all matters how much you know.
Because I've read from articles, and one of my friend from US told me that if your GPA like less than 3.5, then you cannot, like for instance, your bachelor's GPA is less than 3.5, then you cannot get a good job or something like that.
Yeah, so
But really,
yeah,
okay.
I can tell you that where that can happen. So if you are looking for a postdoc position, if you are looking for a job in your core industry, it doesn't matter. So one
Okay.
of your question is, can I get a position in consulting companies like Boston Consulting or McKinsey? For those companies, there is a pre-requirement.
Okay.
So for McKinsey, I know for sure, or or any consulting company, they want to make sure that you have a minimum GPA, but not for core industry. So for Intel, Micron, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. As I said, if you again, I will say that if you are gonna get good grades in your PhD, and if you do good work in your PhD, I won't say that even in McKinsey or Boston Consulting you don't have a chance. You
I
can.
don't have a
No,
chance.
I'm saying you will have a chance.
I will have. Okay.
It see it. You have to understand one thing. It really matters what you are doing now. So, for example, if I want to apply for a new job, the job is gonna ask me what you have done before, not what I have done in my bachelor's. You understand my point? So, what you are doing now will matter 90%.
Okay.
So make sure that you don't screw up your grades or your research
Okay.
now. Yeah. Can I get a postdoc if I get low marks in masters and my current research is focused on?
Okay.
No, it doesn't matter.
You said it already.
Yeah. And how can I increase my employability after completion of my PhD? So I think for a PhD, I will say one couple of things for sure. Make sure you do good publication.
Okay.
Make sure you have a good citation.
Okay.
Okay, and also make sure that you are, you one thing I always another thing I always tell students is, when you do your PhD, make sure whenever you write a paper or you publish a paper, make sure you are going to conference, you are active in LinkedIn and telling people that what research you are doing. So make sure that, let's say if you publish a paper, just put a link in a LinkedIn, so people know that you have done something, so they should know.
Okay.
So keep networking also at the same time,
Okay. So at the
especially.
same time, I have to put my works and tell people about what I'm
Yeah,
doing,
because
right?
what I'm saying is networking is very, very important. So,
Okay.
so not many people understand that even for when you are as a student, if you are doing good work, the only way people know that you have done a good work is if you tell people, if you are able to inform people out there. So LinkedIn is a
Okay.
good medium, and I see a lot of even professors who publish good work. They put their publication in LinkedIn, say, "Hey, here's my new paper," so people know. And
Okay.
and and make sure you, if you don't have a Google Scholar profile, make sure you make one.
Okay, I will make one. I don't have
Yeah,
it.
you should make one and put that link
Okay.
in your CV also,
Mm-hmm.
because that can tell you what is your H index, what is your citation, and keep a
Okay.
track of it so that once you graduate after a PhD. So I would say, here is my point. For a material science student, once you graduate from your PhD, I think
Mm-hmm.
if you have a citation around 100, 200 is a good number. But if you
Okay.
if you have a citation just, I would say, 10, 20 or 30, that's little bit lower number.
Okay.
Okay, so make
Mm-hmm.
sure you keep that number, because the only way you can increase your chance of getting a postdoc or finding a job in a good R&D industry is because of your research and what you have done. So that has to be very strong.
Okay.
Forget about what you did in your bachelor's and master's. Forget about that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And other thing I will tell you, as I said again, I don't have much experience in Europe, but I can tell you that if you are looking for a postdoc in US specifically, it is very very important that you should you should keep track of people in universities who are doing similar research. So let's say, make sure that you are attending some conferences in US so that you can
Okay.
meet people. Either you come to APS or MRS or TMS or any conference that is related, or even any material conference or any conference that is related to semiconductor industry, or print or flexible electronics, printed electronics. Make sure you attend those conferences and meet people, do poster presentation, present your research. It is very very important. And
Okay.
I can tell you for sure, if you do that, some professor will notice it, and he or she may ask you to come and join his or her lab.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
Okay,
very
I
very
got it.
important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just one, out of curiosity, one question that people ask all the time is, what should I do? Should I go to an industry or should I go to academics? I think right now, it is the right time for you to have this question in your brain, that am I interested in research a lot and academics? Do I like teaching? Do I like doing research? Or I am the person who like more applied work. I want to go to industry and solve some problem. So it is up to you totally. From my
Okay.
Yeah, so from my experience, I would definitely tell you one thing, that if you join a good industry with a good R&D, you will be doing some really good work, and it's as good research as joining a university as a
Okay.
professor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it depends on what industry you join, what company you join also. So if you join a
Okay.
very very and many people, especially in your field, I think there are a lot of startups also which are really good. So it's not a
Yeah.
bad idea sometimes to join a new startup. There might be some level of uncertainty with the startup, because the startup have very less money. So
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
is always a job uncertainty, but I will say the amount of work or experience or work they do is really great too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, And as I said, I think you can be a very good candidate for a postdoc position in US. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think my personal feeling is, because you have a good experience in Middle East, if I have to say, or in Europe. I think it might be a good idea for to come to US and do postdoc here. It will give you much broader experience.